I'm pretty sure that everyone's known someone who's misused their position of power. Well, the real world is no different. What emotions and feelings we have, we bring it out into this world. Human nature shows that power can lead to corruption. Give any ordinary human too much power and pretty soon watch him misuse it and grow mad with it. Evidences from the ancient cradles of civilization to today show that power can lead to corruption. Good morning, my friends. I'm here with John Romig, and today we will explain that it is human nature for power to corrupt people morally, and this corrupts entire governments. And John, what do you want to say about power and corruption?
I think, as you mentioned before, Bhargav, power from the dawn of history has corrupted entire corporations. You can go back all the way to the beginnings of history, to the governmental corporations that have yielded the corrupting influence of power. Even today, power shows how deadly it can be in corrupting even the best of people. It is our human nature to be tempted and eventually corrupted with power. This corruption can corrupt government and economic corporations.
It was Abraham Lincoln who said, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." And there have been many researches which have shown that it is human nature for power to corrupt people morally and to bring out the worst in people. But my favorite one is this one led by Adam Galinsky. In a 2009 study, Adam Galinsky asked subjects to rate a scale of how wrong misreporting travel expenses were. Most people said it was really wrong. Then he asked them to write about a time they had a lot of power and divided them into low power and high power groups, and asked them to roll 10-sided die and tell an inspector about their numbers. The numbers they got would determine the number of lottery tickets they would get for a lottery at the end of the research. Most of the ones of high power were found to report higher tickets than they actually got, while most of the lower power people didn't cheat. And get this, the people of higher power were the ones who said that lying about a travel expenses for benefits was really a wrong thing to do. I think we can clearly see how power can bring out the worst in people. As the good people in general, before the research, who said that traveling expenses, misreporting them was wrong, but the simple dice game, along with being asked to write about a time they had power, turned them into utter hypocrites. What do you think about this, John?
I was thinking, if just being asked to write about a time someone had power could turn a good person into a hypocrite, imagine what it could do to a person who actually got immense power.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why don't we talk about how power leads to corruption corporations that you see so much today in modern society?
Yeah, that's a good point. You can really see that in government corporations, such as a single governmental body that rules a single country, or someone who has power over other people.
Yeah, one modern day example everyone probably knows of and can truly see power really corrupt people is the North Korean government. North Korea is a horrible place ruled by a small Kim family that controls the entire nation, starving its citizens while the Kim family, along with other people of high power in the North Korean government corporation, enjoy these amazing luxuries. So they're just watching their people starve, it just infuriates me.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Power really has brought corruption to the North Korean government corporation. How does that dictator, Kim Jong-un, just stand there while his country is starving?
Not to mention the horrifying things they do to the so-called enemies of the state in concentration camps. They're utterly sick.
There was actually another research done by Adam Galinsky to show that it's human nature for power to corrupt people morally.
Wait, is it the one where they asked to write the letter E?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Why don't you explain it?
Galinsky did an experiment where he divided people into high and low power groups. Then the psychologists there told them to draw the letter E on their foreheads. The high power people drew the letter E backwards in the view of the psychologist. For the high power people, they saw it as just a normal E. I think this experiment shows that when people get the feeling of power, they don't consider the feelings of others. I think that this leads to more corruption, where you slowly lose the ability to think about others and you become a maniac.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. And over time, as this power morally corrupts you, you don't see it right away.
Right.
But it starts to corrupt entire, this moral corruption leads to governmental corruption.
Exactly,
Corruption
yeah.
of, these governmental corporations. And when the government is corrupt, then you have this one corporation that forces its whim on, all these people. And
Right.
I think that's a major defect, a major problem in this world today. Is that the corruption given by power to the government first starts out as moral corruption, and then it leads to these corruption of corporations, and then this can really harm the people.
Exactly. I think countries that aren't economically well in general get played and cheated by these governmental corporations, as shown through the clear research by Galinsky. According to human nature, this power numbs them to the considerations of others and makes the leaders of these corporations try to cheat the people.
And get this, there's actually another example. We talked about some earlier ones like North Korea,
Right.
but there was a ruler of Nigeria named Sani Abacha. He ruled from 1993 to 1996, and he not only set up a totalitarian government by he and his people that supported him, but he also stole $2 to $5 billion from his own people, and he stored it in a Western bank. The U.S. actually had to redistribute that money.
Wow.
It's clear, plain, and simple, John. Haven't we shown through studies that power corrupts people morally, and over time, this moral corruption can destroy entire governments? And I think that's a major. I'm not just. Not, I think I know that it's a major defect that's plaguing society today. It's that governments are being corrupted by the individual corruption of a few people, and people have the personal power not to be corrupted by power, if it makes sense. You have the personal power not to let corruption hold you as a slave. You have the personal power to do anything, and I think if people knew that, then they wouldn't allow themselves to be corrupted by power so easily, and we wouldn't have this defect in society, you know?
Exactly.